Hi, everyone. We're Team Android Up. My name is Vivek,
I'm Isabella.
I'm Eric.
and this is our app, Roided Canvas. We'll first be walking you through the UI, which I'll hand over to Eric.
First, our app implements some consistent color schemes and typography to form a great uniform look throughout the app, where certain titles have certain sizes and also text. First, the user is led to a login screen with a simple text field that elicits the user to put in an email and password and two buttons to either sign up or log in. Then, after a successful signup, the user is led to the drawing gallery with a lazy list that holds, lazy grid, sorry, that holds a Instagram-like pattern to display all the drawings as well as buttons to add a new drawing and options to download or sign out. The drawing canvas has some simple icons to display as tools, as well as a slider to demonstrate the size of the pen. The canvas is centrally located for easy accessibility and visibility, as well as a simple navigation button on the top there. Following any user who wants to download something from that gallery, they're led to the downloading page, which uses a lazy column to list out each downloadable item represented with an icon, a file name, and the download icon to more so elicit a behavior to click on the button.
For software architecture, we used MVVM architecture for this project. So we had views, which contained minimal logic. We had a view model, which was used to communicate between the views and the model. And then we had our model. And for this project, our model consisted of RoomDB for local storage, where the repository pattern allows for data persistence between runs. And then we used Firebase for cloud storage. And it's important to note that the view model stores some components of the model, like pen information. This is just for simplicity's sake, but we separated out the view model and model more explicitly once we needed to implement data persistence. And then for other patterns, we used inversion of control. So for this, we had event-driven programming because we cannot control when or how a user interacts with the app. So we handle this by running code when appropriate by using callbacks when an action occurs. And then we also use the observer pattern, which is where views observe live data from the view model so that they can update when something changes. This means that the view model doesn't have to keep track of who knows about what data, and instead this is handled by the observers. We also use the singleton pattern, which means that we only had one instance of our repository because we want this repository to be a single source of truth about the drawings. And just as an example to walk through how all of this plays out, I'm going to talk through how download works. So on the download screen, the user clicks a download icon. The download view then informs the view model that download was clicked and passes the corresponding file name, where the view model accesses Firebase storage to retrieve the bytes of data corresponding to that file name. That byte array is then converted into a bitmap, which is compressed into a PNG and saved to the local Fire directory. The view model tells the repository to save the corresponding file name and file path, and the repository takes that information and uses a data access object to add this drawing data to the RoomDB. The view model is then informed that the list of drawings in the RoomDB has changed, and the view model live data storing that list of all drawings changes, and then the gallery view is observing this, so it's notified that there is a new drawing, and then the gallery view updates to reflect that new drawing.
So jumping into testing, we had three main types of testing used for this project. First, with UI testing, which handled all the UI element behavior and user interactions. We had unit testing to cover all the backend, such as the view model and the database. And then we had integration testing for ensuring that all multiple components of the application work together. So for instance, changes in the view model will be reflected on the screen. For this testing, we used four main frameworks: JUnit 4, Espresso, Jetpack Compose testing, as well as Mock. So testing came with multiple challenges, the first being testing async live data updates. So with some of the live data updates being asynchronous, it was really hard to test some of the specific UI changes. So for that, we decided to use instant task executor rule to ensure that everything was syncing up. And then with the mocking of all our different objects, that became a huge problem. And for that, we had to use libraries such as mock as well as JUnit test runner. And then for UI testing for dynamic content, we had to use compose testing utilities as well. And then for testing functionality, we had five main files. So download fragment test was in charge of Firebase cloud pulling and pushing, and then login fragment test was in charge of Firebase authentication. File storage and gallery fragment test was in charge of UI as well as ensuring database operations. Main activity view ensures app launch and activity lifecycle, and then canvas view model test was in charge of the view model as well as some of the intricate database interactions.
Okay, so this is our live app demo. This is our splash screen here. I can hit sign up, and if I have nothing in, I will get an error message. So now I will sign up with a new account. And when I sign up, it brings me to this drawing gallery where I have the option to add a new drawing and I can navigate to the download fragment or sign out. So I'll sign out just to show you what it looks like when I log in with that account I just created. So I can log in and we're back in here. Now I can add a new drawing, and as you can see, I can change the pen size and draw on the canvas. And then I can also use the eraser to erase those lines that I just drew. I can use the fill bucket to fill the whole screen with something new. I can go in and change the color and draw something else on here with the horizontal and vertical mirror pens. Now, after looking at all those pen features, I can save this file. And if I click save and navigate back to the gallery fragment, we can see that that file is now included in our gallery, where I can hit upload to upload this image. This will now be stored in our Firebase storage. And if I go to the download view, this contains a list of all the drawings that have been uploaded to Firebase. So you can see that one I just uploaded is now included here, but I can also download a new image like this one. So I hit download and then I can go back to this gallery and we can see that we now have that image included, and I can make some edits to that image and save it, and we can see that those edits have now appeared on the drawing gallery.